It affects their job, their home life. At Room to Room, we want to take the guesswork out of buying a mattress, and that's why we brought in this technology. It shows you what you need. We want to do the assessment and find exactly what's perfect for you.
Community is the way we find our strength and share our hope. It's the way dinner on the table brings a family closer together. It's the way we make sure his first chapter book is the first step on his path to greatness. It's the way we rally in hard times and rise back up stronger than ever. United is the way we come together so everyone can thrive. Join us at unitedway.org.
For decades, when people are fed, futures are nourished, they can connect with the world around them, unlock endless possibilities, and thrive. Join the movement to end hunger. Volunteer. Advocate. Donate. Go to feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Welcome in here to the Room to Room Weather Center for Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynard. Joined alongside me is Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhon. We'll get to him in just a moment. We want to first kind of give you an idea of what we'll be talking about here at the 6 o'clock hour. And there's a lot to talk about, even though there's very little rainfall. That's still a big story because we've been without rainfall for such a long period of time. Finally getting a few of those rain showers. Are you lucky enough to get it? Well, we'll track that in more detail, but little sneak preview. It's not going to impact a lot of us. Hot temperatures getting even hotter into the weekend, so buckle up for that warming trend to continue into our weekend and really into the start of next week as well. And as I mentioned, Matt joining us live from Northeast Mississippi Community College. Their game happening this evening here in just a few moments, so he'll be walking through that forecast for us in detail. What you will need to know if you are heading to that game is, of course, the temperature is going to be warm, 83 degrees around 7, dropping as we head overnight, so by the time that game reaches its finale, 74 degrees and dropping into the mid-60s for our morning commute on our Friday. Yes, Friday is here. One more day left in the work week, one more day left in our school week. So that is such a great sign of where we're at. I mean, just whenever you're Friday schedule, that's definitely an exciting time. 10% chance of rainfall. I mentioned that there were a few pop-up showers in the area. Matt, I know that you were kind of in the middle of a few of these chances, but so far over there at Northeast Mississippi, you're staying on the drier side. Is that right?
We are staying on the dry side up here. It does look like my shot might be partially locked there. So we'll see if that comes back here in a second. We've kind of missed some of the rainfall around the region today, but certainly a lot of folks out here excited about the fact that we've seen a little rainfall. You can see behind me here, of course, the Spirit staff getting ready. And the band all getting ready to get set
Hang
up
on,
here
Matt.
for the
Hang on, Matt. We might need to
Mississippi
reboot that
College.
shot just to get it back up and running because I think it's still kind of paused right there. Is there a way that you could restart that here in just a few minutes and we'll join back in a second?
Yeah. Give me just a second.
Okay. Well, let me know, send me a text, and then we'll come back to you here in just a few minutes. So we're going to keep going through that forecast and just looking outside across the region. So as of now, the first 12, you can see those chances of showers still lingering in the area. But as we head further into our night, looks like he's back up and running. We're just going to go back to him right now because I see him up and we're going to go while we can. Isn't that right? Well, Matt, I can see that your shot is clear. The sky is clear. No rainfall in the forecast. Is that right so far?
No rainfall so far. We've had some sprinkles from time to time this afternoon and evening, but not a whole lot more than that. Live here at Northeast, data doing what data does, but all the college students and community excited about the fact that the community college football is back up here in Boonville this evening. You can see team back behind me getting all ready. I'm excited to be back in town after 2 games where they were out and about. Certainly, we've had some rainfall from time to time and some sprinkles this evening, but if I just kind of look up and pan, what you do not see, if we don't see any kind of precipitation out there, any kind of cloud cover really, as that one little way falling apart. I know that you're looking at where some showers are out there right now. Looking toward what is largely a fairly dry and hot forecast coming up here from northeast and units.
Well, Matt, stay warm, or don't stay warm, you're staying warm. Stay cool out there, and of course, try and stay on the drier side. Keep that rain away from the football game. Use your magic weatherman powers, right?
I'll see what I have. I don't know if I got weatherman powers here, but I think Mother Nature will do a fine job of that tonight.
Well, let's keep it going. Perfect for that football game. We'll be back with you here in just a moment, but let's jump back here to the Room to Room Weather Center, where we're seeing those clear conditions, not just in Boonville, not just in the Prentiss County area, but also down there towards Monroe County, Aberdeen, showcasing beautiful blue skies, 90 degrees, feeling like 93. So that little bit of moisture that's in the forecast, bumping those temperatures up a few degrees, just that little bit of humidity that's in the area. If we jump out there towards Greenville, you might notice that there's a little bit of a different view, and that some of those darker clouds associated with those, I say light, but it is actually light, but very isolated showers. So that's what we're tracking, 93 degrees in Greenville, 88 towards Kosciuszko, more of those blue skies showing up there towards Itala County. So it's going to be a hot one. It's going to be a warm one heading into our evening, and of course staying on the drier side for the majority of us. Even over there towards Oxford and Lafayette County, 90 degrees. That dew point around 59 degrees. So still some of that drier air cycling in a few select locations. But let's go ahead and jump into Mississippi Live Weather Radar, where so far, I mean, Matt was saying it's a dry forecast a few hours ago. A little bit of a different story. We've had that little batch of moisture, that little batch of showers and thunderstorms roll on through. Now what we're left with is a little bit of, I'm saying a little bit, there's one shower over there in Union County. Jump to the last scan. There it is over the New Albany and Baker area. So hopefully getting at least a few sprinkles, but probably not getting much. And that's the sad part about it. That's moving right across Highway 15, more into Beacon Hill. But I would say Beacon Hill, you are too far away because that is dissipating out as we head further into that forecast. More of our showers popping up around the Greenville area. We saw it on our North Mississippi camera there in Greenville, where some of that heavier downpour along Highway 61, Leland area, the intersection of 82 and 61, continue to track a few of those showers there. If we go back the last 30 minutes or so, you can see that, you know, it's been right over the top of the Leland area. Not really much movement with these showers out there in the Delta. So where these showers pop up, we're getting decent rainfall outputs. And even this one down there towards Hollandale and Percy, I mean, little movement, we could say 5 miles an hour, but that's the extent of the speed. And so we're going to, where those showers do pop up, heavy rainfall expected within that. So let's go ahead and jump back out to our home view, and let's go ahead and keep this show going. And the reason why we're tracking these showers is because the drought monitor just came out today. And you might notice that this looks much different than what we had this past week, where that level 1 risk now impacting parts of Monroe, Clay, Oktibbeha, Choctaw County. There's still a little sliver right there down there towards Itala, Choctaw, and Winston County that is still around our seasonable average, but rest of us, I mean, well below that average and well in need of that rainfall. Level 3 risk, or level 3 drought monitor, apologies there, now extending towards Hernando, Senatobia, Batesville. So it's going to be a dry forecast for the next 7 days, and this drought monitor, well, we expect it to get much worse in that 7-day outlook. You can see that level 3 risk encompassing, I keep saying level 3 risk, level 3 drought monitor still impacting a large portion of western Tennessee, northeast Arkansas, and southern Missouri right there. So large portion still dealing with those dry conditions, and that extended forecast not doing anyone any favors, especially looking at our surface analysis right here. You might notice how very little rainfall encompassing the entire southeast. So much different story, and that frontal boundary continues to tease us, keeping a lot of those rain chances out there towards the northwest, and this frontal boundary keeping a lot of those rain chances down there towards Miami and Tampa. Again, not anywhere near Tupelo. We're just fully reliant on this boundary that's over the top of us right now, giving us a few showers and thunderstorms, but that's the extent of it, just a few. So let's go ahead and get into Futurecast right here, where you can kind of get the idea. It's going to be a dry forecast for the next several days. If we jump into that Tupelo area where we're getting that boundary, you can see a lot of those showers that are starting to develop there by 10. What I want you to take with this is that the positioning on these it's actually a little bit slower than what it was a few moments ago. So these showers that are popping up have actually taken place here in the last hour or so. So those moving into the 7, 8, 9 o'clock hour, we're still going to see some scattered activity, but not nearly this widespread like what it's showcasing on our Futurecast. So as we continue into our overnight hours, a lot of those showers do dissipate around the midnight hour, and then we're staying dry overnight and into the start of our Friday. Friday morning, you can see those dry conditions really dominating our area. A few pop-up showers trying to linger in the forecast, but we don't really have any rain chances, at least significant rain chances for our Friday morning. Those, of course, becoming drier as the day goes on, but then we have our next chance of rainfall, and that's going to be towards your mid to late afternoon forecast on your Friday. You might notice 6 p.m. still around 10% coverage, so I'm not saying that everyone with their football games needs to be taking note of this, but it might be better to have that rain gear in the back seat just in case as these sporadic showers develop into that late afternoon forecast. Drying up by the football game, so we do have that dry forecast to look forward to, but definitely keeping eyes on that forecast. 6 a.m., 66 degrees, climbing throughout the day, already in the upper 80s by lunchtime. Mid-90s expected for your afternoon forecast, and of course with those rain chances in the forecast, some of that rain-cooled air also a possibility. So lots of things that we need to take note of as we head into our Friday night game of the week forecast. Of course, we'll have more details on that forecast coming up in the next 60, as well as your SEC football forecast. We'll have those as well as you stick with Mississippi Live Weather at 6 coming up in the next 60.
Up here's where your biggest risks hide: leaks, mold, and expensive damage. Most commercial roofs fail slowly until they fail big. Why rip it off when you can restore it? Our silicone coatings stop leaks, prevent mold, and extend your roof life without the high replacement cost. It's a 30-year watertight roof, energy efficient, leak-free, and half the cost of replacement. And it's backed by GE's manufacturer warranties. Facility managers love this. No disruption, no tear-off, and long-term protection for your property. Trust Absolute Restoration for your commercial roof.
Community is the way we find our strength and share our hope. It's the way dinner on the table brings a family closer together. It's the way we make sure his first chapter book is the first step on his path to greatness. It's the way we rally in hard times and rise back up stronger than ever. United is the way we come together so everyone can thrive. Join us at unitedway.org.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lobhon.
And you can see behind me here, it is just a beautiful evening for some football. Doesn't matter the type, just glad it's here. And of course, we're talking community college football at Northeast Community College, their home opener for the season out here in Booneville. And I got to flip it all the way around to show you the one cloud in the sky way out there toward Alabama. So we've got some clear conditions for this. That despite the fact that we've had some showers shown up on the projections from time to time this evening, and we did have some sprinkles earlier on, but those have not materialized into anything as of late and likely to keep conditions fairly dry as we go through the remainder of this evening. As we check out the related to those temperatures, coming in 89 degrees at this instant. Our winds, as you can see, relatively light. My daughter, who's out here with me, wishes it was a little breezier. That way it would be a little less sticky and hot, but certainly sticky and hot still winning, despite the fact that at least the stickiness factor is not typically what we see during midsummer or anything like that. Hey, over the next few hours here, we expect that coverage of rainfall staying somewhere in the neighborhood of around 10% or so. A lot of us dry, but there are a couple of showers out there that we are monitoring the potential to have some impacts related to. In fact, looking at Mississippi Live Weather Radar, we have a few of those. Give me a moment to kind of get over here so I can zoom in on a few of these. And in particular, looking at some of those out there closer to Greenville, Hollandale, as you can see back out in the Delta. These are very limited in overall coverage and intensity, and frankly are rather unimpressive as far as precipitation is concerned. I'll make this a 1 hour loop here, and you can kind of get the idea on a few of those. Again, mostly on the collapsing phase. Outside of that, we're largely looking pretty clear up here. Just really clear air returns, mainly what we have, bugs and things like that. You can see some of those sprinkles we did up here closer to their Guntown, Saltillo, Sherman a little bit ago. That has largely fallen apart as drier weather is now dominating and likely to continue to dominate as we go into and through this evening. Temperatures are pretty warm. Actual temperatures, upper 80s, lower 90s, even at the 6 o'clock hour are, of course, warmest temperatures out there. Belzona coming around 93 degrees at this instant. Heat index about 95 Greenwood, 95 in Greenville at this time, but still only upper 80s out there back toward around Iuka and Booneville. We're showing that heat index coming in at right around 90 degrees. Looking at Futurecast this evening, you can see it does still have a couple of isolated showers out there the next couple of hours. Not expecting to see a lot of that kind of activity, but a possibility to have a few of those. You can see mid 70s later on this evening. As we roll through the overnight hours, we expect those temperatures later on tonight to drop back into the 60s and low 70s for morning lows by the first part of early morning on your Friday. Friday again, somewhere around 65 to 66 for that low temperature. But I think a few spots still mid 60s, coming in about 65 there up in Iuka, 64 degrees Red Bay, and 64 in Corinth. So again, as we go throughout tomorrow, mainly dry conditions. Despite we've had this little wave that moved through the area, we're 77 degrees by mid-morning and temperatures into the middle 80s to upper 80s by noontime. You can see already at noontime that heat index coming in around the 90-degree point, and probably going to be a little higher than that as you can see into the afternoon. Actual temperatures, you'll notice a difference there between that and the heat index. That's because in general, we anticipate that the air is dry enough that when you sweat, like we all do, it effectively ends up evaporating. So a few spotty storms possible. Again, this could be overdone on our Futurecast, but wouldn't be shocked to have a couple of those possibly impacting maybe a rogue Friday night football game. Hopefully not our game of the week there, with high temperatures expected to be in the middle 90s. Of course, our high school football game of the week, that is going to be down in Hatley. Very excited about Mantachi and Hatley in that game. Pre-game, we're going to be at 87 degrees. We're halftime at 79. Mostly dry conditions. Again, 10% coverage of rainfall. And we appreciate Casey Locke, injury attorney there, for sponsoring our high school game of the week and all the competitions. I know got a real slugfest going on in the cheerleaders and band of the week there. So check this out on Facebook if we continue to see some of those. Of course, we still have about 24 hours before we see who wins that category. So excited about that. That'll be 6 p.m. tomorrow at the end of the 6 o'clock show when that vote is finalized. As you can see, into the evening, mostly dry conditions, so that definitely continues into the evening and overnight hours. Rain chances aren't zero as we head into the weekend. We do anticipate that we're going to continue to have, again, maybe only a couple spotty showers there the first part of early Saturday. As we progress into Saturday, temperatures probably into the lower 90s by midday, and high temperatures expected to be, again, in the lower 90s with rain chances fairly minimal. And as we look at that 7-day forecast there, 93 as we go toward your Saturday, 95 degrees by Sunday, 96 Monday, mid-90s on the way as we look toward the first part of next week. But as far as rainfall is concerned, we don't, unfortunately, have very meaningful chances showing up with that. Let's talk college football here for a moment. Again, our Carl Hogan SEC football forecast. Arkansas coming to Ole Miss. Expected that one to be fairly warm. First play, again, we're at 6 p.m. temperature. And so when you're going to be, going to the Grove and doing what you do, make sure to include something that rehydrates as part of your intake of fluids. Hint, because it's going to be hot. You'll have miserable issues if you don't. Again, expecting that to be still fairly mild even in the late evening there. Forecast Mississippi State. Alcorn State coming to town, 87 first play temperature on that. It's still obviously fairly hot, and most of the partying or whatever you do there in the junction needs to include some liquids that rehydrate. Alabama, of course, that's an earlier kick, and that's going to be hotter. I mean, even though the actual temperature was showing lower 90s there in the stadium, it is probably going to feel like it's closer to 100 degrees. Not a lot of wind movement in the sunshine. You know how that goes. So some issues related to that. Again, appreciate Carl Hogan for sponsoring our college football forecasts here on Mississippi Live Weather. But Gabe, certainly band's getting set up here behind me. So I'm going to send it back to you here in the studio as we're looking ahead toward some extended forecast stuff. What do you have here as we continue our broadcast ahead coming up a little later on? Well, you're going to find that out in 60 seconds as Mississippi Live Weather continues.
At Room to Room, did you know our specialty is custom ordered upholstery? Get the furniture you want and the fabric and color selection you want. With our free design service, we won't let you make a mistake.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Well, Matt mentioned that we are going to be tracking that long-range forecast, and what better way to start with a look at the tropics. This, our only disturbance out there in the Atlantic as of September 11th. And so what we have right here is a 0% chance of development over the next 48 hours. This is one of our long track systems that we expect the potential for development. But right now, even the next 7 days at around 30%. That, of course, continuing to climb over the next couple of days. So keeping eyes on the tropics, but not expecting any impacts here in the central 48. So as we walk through that forecast, this is, of course, looking at the jet stream, kind of walks through some of that development in the tropics. So we're starting off the coast of Africa, and this is, again, Friday at 6 p.m. Pay attention to that time frame as we extend this over the next few days. This is heading into your Saturday. You see how it's starting to get some spin to it, some organization there by Saturday evening. So meteorologist Caleb Edelblue, he'll have the latest on that forecast. Again, even by Saturday, not expecting it to be anything significant, but we could reach that tropical depression threshold by Sunday evening as that starts to wrap around a bit more, having some of those rain bands associated with it developing and becoming a bit more prominent. Well, then we get into Monday evening, and you still see it's still not a big time storm. I mean, wind speed's not over the top, but it is at least trying to get a little bit more organized in that extended forecast. By the time we get into I'll take this into Wednesday as well. By the time we get into our Wednesday evening, that of course trying to ratchet up just a bit and become more of a significant storms with some of those wind returns talking about 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. So that's where we could see this become a tropical storm, possibly even a Category 1 storm. But as we get into Friday of next week, you can see how that continues to strengthen just a bit, and some of those wind returns, of course, those lighter blues showing up indicate that this is still a strengthening system. But stalling out in the middle of the Atlantic, way far away from the United States, so not expecting any impacts here in North Mississippi, nevertheless any states here in the United States. So this is Saturday at 6 p.m. Well, I want to keep an eye on this for just a moment and watch how it kind of stalls out, stops moving altogether, but then it'll start to be carried a little bit out there towards the northeast, all due to this system. And I had several folks over the weekend say, Gabe, when is our next front coming? When is our next cooler air mass moving on in? Well, here's a look at it. Our jet stream at least showcasing a little bit of that, what we'd call a trough, as you can see, kind of dipping right there over the southeast and giving us some decent chances of rainfall. What we have is a low pressure center that will develop and have some of these fronts kicking off of it right along those that tighter gradient. So that's going to carry off there into the east or western Atlantic coast, should I say, but the East Coast here in the United States. That, of course, moving east and will carry out that system with it. But this was actually a big identifier of how our forecast will be impacted over the next several days. With us not having any frontal boundaries, no cooler air moving in, so we're really expecting this copy and paste forecast, at least for the next 7 days, but even beyond that, talking about the next, September 22nd, 13 days altogether before we'll finally get some relief in that forecast. And what else is September 22nd? Well, the first day of fall. So that kind of makes sense that we're lining up in that order, that we're getting some cooler air in the start of that fall season. So if you were counting down to fall before, well, you're definitely doing that now that models are showing at least some relief in that forecast. That, of course, carrying off there towards the northeast and taking a lot of those rain chances with it. But back behind there, we have a ridging pattern that'll develop, and that'll be some cooler air cycling in from the what we call continental air mass. That's going to be some of that drier, cooler air towards Omaha from St. Louis, and that, of course, reaching all the way down towards North Mississippi. This is going to be Tuesday evening on September 23rd. No, not this coming Tuesday, a week from that. So this is a very long-range forecast, and of course, not expecting anything relief-wise anytime soon. So if you are heading to that Northeast Mississippi Community College game, kickoff, of course, happening here very shortly. 83 degrees by pregame, 76 by halftime, and 72 by the final snap. Now, we do have some rain chances in the area. I think 20% is a little bit egregious, but we do have some of that out there in the Delta. So if you're not heading to the game, or you do have any plans out there along I-55 or west, well, of course, watching the potential for a few of those pop-up showers. Make sure to have that rain gear ready just in case. But as I say, this time of year, don't really go into the day expecting to use it. You can, of course, track those showers and figure out if you need to use that umbrella with the Mississippi Live Weather app. Make sure to download it with the QR codes today. You can see them on the left and right of me. They'll give you all the information you need from a hour-by-hour forecast, a 7-day forecast. It'll have our forecasted videos that we push through the evenings that you guys can tune into. It's a little short clip, about 2 to 3 minutes, and it'll tell you everything you need to know for your forecast ahead, at least for the next 12 to 24 hours. And you can also submit pictures. Hint, hint, we love receiving pictures. So make sure to send a few of the sunset tonight. We will showcase those tonight on Mississippi Live Weather at 10. Speaking of, that's our next broadcast, Mississippi Live Weather at 10, and then we'll have our morning show at 6:37 and 7:30. Why do you need to tune in on hot, sunny days? Well, temperatures are a big story and can impact a lot of folks. And so knowing how hot it is going into the day is very important, but we also do have isolated showers. Typical summer fashion here in North Mississippi. We'll have, as each model run comes out, we'll have the latest model run at 10, and of course a new model run coming up at 6:37 and 7:30. So it'll give you the latest details for that forecast. If you're heading out to any of those Friday night football games, it'll have that information as well. So all the more reason to download the app today and stay informed, or as informed as you can. And of course our broadcast streamed or 24/7 stream on the app. We'll have our broadcasts featured on the app as well. So we thank you so much for joining us tonight. Have a fantastic evening. Go Tigers if you're going to the Northeast game, but if you're not, just enjoy what is a fantastic evening here in North Mississippi. We'll see you back here tonight at 10.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Growing up, Gabe was naturally curious. When he began to discover weather, Gabe just didn't want to know what was happening, but he wanted to know why it was happening. Gabe became fascinated with tornadoes, and it impacted his life. He wanted to pursue a career in meteorology. Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.